Welcome to the Monadnock International Film Festival.
Thank you! Into the group of things.
And coffee.
This is our second. Yeah, I have my coffee. Welcome to the Monadnock International Film Festival, the second annual film festival, and we're broadcasting from Keene, New Hampshire, with a weekend full of films and events and music, and also filmmakers and event makers. And one of the films that is the highlight, the build-up in the entire festival, is a film called Watchers of the Sky, which is going to be our film that'll be ending this film festival this year. And with me right now is Luis Moreno Ocampo. And Luis is was the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court for 9 years. Mm-hmm. And you're featured in this film, Watchers of the Sky, which is a film that is about the topic of, which is a difficult topic of genocide. And tell us a little bit about your role in this in terms of this film.
The film is a story about genocide, but how to prevent genocide. The story is about genocide was a crime invented in 1948, it was adopted by the different states and was rolling. But interestingly, it's an idea from a Jewish lawyer called Raphael Lemkin. He lost his family during the war, and instead to just focus on the punishment of the people in Nuremberg, he was thinking, I am a lawyer, how can I help to prevent that? And in fact, he was a little insane. He defined his mission in life will be to force the states from all over the world to adopt a law to protect humanity. That was his vision. And the most incredible thing, he succeeded in 4 years. So in 1948, he invented the word genocide. And the film showed how he was looking for a word who expressed what happened during the Second World War, and then he invented the concept, and then he was lobbying. And finally, in 1948, the law was adopted. And that's a huge change. It's the first time we have a global law for humanity. So you have laws in New Hampshire, you have laws in the US, now you have laws in the world.
And I want to interject because I think this was interesting about the film, is at one point he said there is a law if you murder one man, but there were no laws on the books if you murdered 400 men.
After the Second World War, two things happened. One, there was Nuremberg trial, where the top Nazi leaders were prosecuted. And it was the first time ever in human history that the prosecutors and the judges were representing no New Hampshire, no US, the world. And this followed with this Lemkin idea to establish global law against genocide. That was 1948. But then the Cold War stopped these efforts. And the humanity could not keep moving at this level. And in some way, in 1998, the International Criminal Court was created. It's Nuremberg but permanent for the future. And in some way going back. So now we have the law, now we have judges and prosecutors. And I was appointed the first prosecutor. And the movie followed the creation of the genocide law, the genocide committed in the Balkans and in Rwanda, and then in Darfur. And in Darfur, I was investigating the genocide in Darfur, and I was getting the indictment of President Bashir of Sudan. So that's the movie is about. The movie tells the story, explain the story.
And your position in it is to find reasons to look at these situations and then find reasons that you could possibly indict these people for the war crimes. How is that possible on a world level in terms of how is it enforced?
The first thing is how to investigate the crimes. That was, in particular, Darfur was complicated because my duty was to investigate the crimes, but also to protect the witness. So we decided that we cannot protect witnesses inside Sudan. So we had to look for witnesses around the world. So we look for witnesses in different 18 countries. We have method to identify the witness. So it took 2 years for us to collect enough evidence to present the first arrest warrant. So, and after this happened, the next step is how to implement the arrest warrant, because in New Hampshire or in the judge says something, the police go and implement. The protocol is clear. At the international level, it's a new protocol. The idea that who killed 1 million people is not going to jail is a protocol we're trying to change. But it's complicated because the world is organized around national states. So it's complicated, but it's moving, it's moving. That way, for me, the movie is a way to present to normal people living in this place. This is a peaceful place. It's not genocide here. But they should understand that this was possible and could be repeated, in fact, the problem. In fact, it was repeated in Rwanda and other places. And communication is helping us to communicate, but also could create risk. And then the idea to protect my community include New Hampshire or Keene, but also include humanity. That is, for me, what we are learning. And the young generation born global, no? I normally, when I teach, I explain to my students, look, at your age, I was not using cell phones. And one time they say, why? Because when I had your age, there were no cell phones. So for them, it's normal. Those who born in the last 20 years, born without Cold War, with cell phones and with internet, complete different people. They believe they have rights around the world. And they understand, yes, the rights are different in Sweden than in Rwanda than in today in Syria. So it's not the same. And that is, for me, the next step. Enforcing decision is part of this, but it's bigger. It's not just about judges and prosecutors. No, the law is not for judges and prosecutors. The law is for people. No? I always say, I don't know how it's in Keene, but in Berlin, for instance, you can go in Berlin and take the subway, and there's no control. You just go and take the subway. They pay because they believe they had to pay. I always say the story. I had 2 of my staff at the ICC in Brussels going to the meeting, and they decided to take the subway. And they were running to the subway, and the train was coming. The French lady told my German officer, come on, the train is coming. And the German guy said, no, we cannot take it. Why not? The ticket office is closed. So for them, you cannot take a train, a subway, without a ticket. That's it. And that's, for me, the most interesting idea. So, and in some way, in the national level, if someone kills the husband, the police goes, the prosecutor intervenes, the judge will intervene, and no politician will interfere. The protocol is clear. That's not the same at the global level. And that is the next evolution, the next step. We are progressing. Yeah. There is a law, there is a court, enforcing is the next step. But, you know, at the ICC, my tenure, we prosecute 32 people, and we have just 8 at large. So most of them we are getting. Yeah, not so many. Yeah. Not so many. Yeah.
So in terms of these countries that might grab your attention in terms of investigating, is there a common thread with all of them? And is it a dictatorship? Is it a person that
not
has
always?
Too much?
No. The global thing are just 3 crimes: genocide, crimes against humanity, which is a widespread or systematic attack against civilian population, or war crimes. There are few countries that this happens. I would say less than 20. So less than 10% of the world has this problem. So that's why it's a good time. It's a time to consolidate that. And this is the only case that we can intervene. And also, we need first the state accepting the co-intervention. So there are 122 states inside. In addition to that, the United Nations Security Council can refer cases because they have the legal power to do it. So Libya with Gaddafi and Darfur came because the UN Security Council decided. But also showing how the world is moving. When I started, the Security Council was against the ICC, and 2 years later, Darfur happened, they decided to send the case to us, and now in the Libya case, they referred the case of Libya just 10 days after the beginning of the conflict, and it was a consensus of China, Russia, India, everyone was in agreement. So the world is moving, but it's moving, and I like the idea of the movie, but also for me it's interesting how we can use this movie in our schools. I believe we need to show, one plan we have is the schools can receive modules of the movie, 10 minutes, to use in the schools. They cannot show 2 hours movie, but they can show 5 minutes. And the teachers can use the material. So we are working with some organization like Facing History and ourselves to help the teachers to use the material. And I would like to see how in schools in Keene are using this. For me, it will be interesting to see. But also, it's other idea we have in mind is I am working on, I'm interested to see how schools teach these issues. So I can help teachers from here to connect with Uganda teachers or German teachers, so to understand other communities and creating our students the perception this could happen in different places and there are kids who suffer and then you can understand them and talk to them.
If you're looking at now you're no longer in that international criminal court because of the tenure is up, but if you were looking at it today, if you were in that position today, would North Korea be somebody you'd be investigating in terms of?
No, North Korea is not a member of the SEC, so
it doesn't matter if they have to be.
The court cannot go. Syria and North Korea are out of the reach.
Okay.
But the real issue is now citizens. You know, the law is not for prosecution. The idea of establish the law, and this area is an interesting area. It's not just about prosecutors; it's people believing in the law, and that's it for me. What I am promoting now. The idea. Okay, let the judge and prosecutor do their job, but we can do more. We can educate our kids. We can discuss with politicians how to ensure the implementation of the law, how to protect humanity. That is a new concept we are developing. I think so. It's not just what the judge will do, what the teachers can do, or the filmmaker can do. Because at the end, you know, films create the culture. Films are very important to create culture.
This is one of those films. This is a very powerful film. I've seen the film. People are lining up to see it right now, and I think it's going to be a film that changes a lot of people's lives. So congratulations, and thank you so much for taking the time. It's been a wonderful honor to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.